I am Daniel Lucas, and welcome to Book 101. Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years, and today I have my special guest, no other than Miss Cindy Buckley.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Daniel. Thank you for having me on your show.
Welcome to Book 101, Miss Cindy, and can you please introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Cindy Buckley, and I've written a book, Love Awakens You, which helps you to recognize and understand the difference between love and fear, because we don't really know what love and fear is. We think we do, but we don't. And the good thing about this book is you don't have to do any journaling, you don't have to do any affirmations, you don't have to do any self-help techniques. You just read the book, which is wonderful for a lot of people because sometimes most self-help books have you do the same thing over and over. This is different. You just read it slowly from beginning to end, and you're on your way to connecting to your intuition and learning a better way of living.
Definitely interesting, Miss Cindy. So, if you define love, what is love to you?
I am going to define love. Ooh, that's a good question. Now let me get my thoughts together. Um, I'm going to start with human beings are only capable of two emotions, love or fear. Love is shown as gratitude, compassion, patience, kindness, integrity, honesty. That's love. Everything else is fear. Now, that could mean things like anytime you make a judgment, you're in fear. If you think you're an individual, you're in fear. If you are angry, well, that's the common one, you're in fear. So if you're being selfish, you're in fear. There's a whole lot of words to describe fear, not so many to describe love.
Definitely. What age did you realize that you are good in writing?
Oh, maybe a year ago.
Why is that?
I don't really like writing. I think writing is hard work. Uh, I gotta say, over 20 years ago, I had a spiritual awareness instructor um, said to me that I was going to be writing inspirational sayings. And I said, I'm never going to do that. No way, no how. I don't want to. Writing's hard work. I'm not doing it. 18 years later, I wrote the book. So, um, and actually, now that I've gotten in the swing of it, it's not so bad. I have written the second book, a follow-on from the first book, which is in the editing process right now. So it's kind of fun, actually. Even though I actually swore up and down I was not going to ever do that, but here I am doing it.
Congratulations, Miss Cindy. So, who are your favorite authors that influence you the most?
Well, my one of my more favorite authors is Gary R. Renard. He wrote a book called Disappearance of the Universe, and he has some follow-on books. And those books are based on his life and A Course in Miracles, and the principles from A Course in Miracles and how they applied to his life. And you can apply them, of course, to your life. Of course, A Course in Miracles, it has a scribe more than an author. I also like Catherine Neville.
So, if you describe the writing, styles of writing of your favorite authors, what is it or what are they?
The style is one of kindness, compassion, um, and really being truthful. Uh, You want to. I like books that don't have a lot of fluff. They don't have a zillion words to say the same thing over and over. That really, they just get right to the point. That's kind of the authors I like. I don't do good with people's that. beat around the bush, go around the circle, do the merry-go-round back and forth, so to speak.
Did you get those criteria in writing?
I did, actually. The book that I have written, Love Awakens You, is actually the chapters are what I call answers are fairly short. They're like just a short page and a half. But within that page and a half is a whole lot of information.
So, what are your short term and long term goals in writing?
Well, my short-term goal is to be able to help as many people as possible to get them to, become better versions of themselves and to learn what true kindness means. That's the short-term goal. The long-term goal is to, you know, I guess do the same thing over and over. And I don't want to do. But guess what? I'm doing it. Oh my God. There you go.
Definitely. So, let's talk about your self help book, Love Awakens You. How did you crafted it?
About 18 years ago, I started a friend gave me the book, A Disappearance of the Universe, and I started reading it. And when I started reading it, I said, "Oh my God, I have to get A Course in Miracles." So I went ahead and I got A Course in Miracles. So I read Disappearance of the Universe, A Course in Miracles, and I did the workbook and A Course in Miracles at the same time. This I would not recommend because your ego is going to get challenged. Something awful. Yeah, all kinds of stuff comes up. But at the same time that that was happening, I started getting these inspirational sayings, and I would write them down on a piece of paper. I'd be in a restaurant, and I'd be writing. I'd wake up in the middle of the night and go, "Oh, I'd remember that." No, I didn't remember it. And so it took about 18 years. And I said, gee, I think those inspirational sayings might be helpful for people. So I put it in a book and I expanded the book with, some answers to questions you did not know you had, some meditations and some reflections. And the book really does help you open up to your true self so that you can reconnect with peace, happiness, and self confidence.
Interesting, Miss Cindy. So, what behind the title of Love Awakens You?
It is just a title that came to me 20 years ago, and it's always going to be that title. And it's focused on getting people to understand and recognize the difference between love and fear, because we don't really know what the difference is. In comparison to true happiness and what we think happiness is, there's a huge difference because compared to our bad times, the little happiness times we have, we think are wonderful, but they can be way more than that. And you gotta, it's like trying to learn to maintain that happiness. And that's what the book helps you to do.
Definitely. But before we go on, I want to shout out to the people listening in Japan. Arigato gozaimasu. Hi, Japan, for your supporting this podcast because in Tokyo, I got 73% audience share. Miyazaki at 5%, Gifu at 2%, Nara at 2%, Aichi at 2%, Wakayama at 2%, Yogo at 2%, Kamatoko, Kanagawa, Hokkaido, and last but not the least, Satama at 2%. Thank you, Japan, or arigato gozaimasu, hi, for Japanese people. So much for supporting this podcast because this podcast is created to empower writers all over the world like me, Cindy Buckley. What inspired you to write Love Awakens You?
Oh, the fact that I want to be able to help people. I want I want them to be able to learn to connect to their own intuition and to be able to follow their own guidance. I want people to be able to not always have to depend on somebody else for an answer or guidance. Doesn't mean that you still don't need that because you do, because it's very helpful. But I want them to be able to say, gee, does that work for me? Yes or no? Be able to have a more definitive way to get the best out of their life.
Can you describe the research process of Love Awakens You?
There was no really research process. It really was guided by my higher self to write the book. And I would sit down in my favorite spot in the family room and I would say, okay, what do you want me to write? And I would write it down. And a couple times I said, you don't really want me to say that, do you? And they'd go, yep, you're going to write that. I went, okay, I'm going to write that. A couple times I go, how about this? And they'd say, sure, let's add that or whatever. Believe it or not, that
Yes.
was the process. Wondering if I was doing it right. I was doing it right for them, and then being able to be able to pass the message on well enough for people to, you know, in a way enjoy it even though you're learning it because you don't have to do any, affirmations or anything like that. You just have to read the book, and it's the way the words are put together that helps to unlock their true potential. And was I going to get it right? That was kind of my big worry.
So, how do you feel your personal experience have shaped your writing?
Oh, believe it or not, reading and rereading my own book has actually given me the courage to be able to speak about this. I tend to be someone who likes to stay home and be a little bit of a hermit. And when you write a book, you have to move beyond that. And I literally woke up partway through the process and saying, I'm not going to do it. I can't publish the book. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to publish it. And I went on a tirade for about, a day, and I calmed myself down and said, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm supposed to do this, so I'll get it done. So it has given me the confidence to be able to speak about love versus fear and um, to be able to help other people.
Interesting and well said, Miss Cindy. And according to Miss Lisa, dear self-help, positive thinking. What are the elements that you put in your self-help book that make the readers miss positive thinking?
Um, I think one of the realizations that people have is they don't realize how deep into fear they really are. And once you start to realize that, you can do something about it. All the thing is, you got to remember that you need to ask for help. You need to ask your higher guidance for help. They can't help you unless you ask. So remember to ask, folks. It's very important. They're there, they're waiting to help you. You got to ask.
Yes, people, ask us if you need it. And according to Miss Juliet Rudney, a great guide for many good practices. So can you share out, Miss Cindy, this practice, a good practices that you shared in the book?
Well, I'm going to give one that's not in the Love Awakens You, but is in the next book. It's a simple, but it's incredibly effective. Whenever you're bothered by something, all you have to do is say, I am always safe and protected. That's it. It's really simple, it's effective, and it's really important to also say it when you're happy and when you're feeling good because what's going to happen is it's going to expand that because it's going to give you more courage. And when you're down, it's going to help lift you up out of your down times.
Yes, it's a positive thinking. What's inspiring, Miss Cindy? But before we go on, I'm inviting you to listen to my other podcast, Love Letters. Love Letters are a collection of love stories of people get lost, get crazy, and disoriented in the name of love. We will learn from these stories and let be in their shoes to feel what it's like to be in love. So please do listen. Love Letters Plus. My books, people, is out. Love Letters Volume 1 History. We talk about how love letters evolved. So available on Amazon and leading online bookstores worldwide. So, Miss Cindy, what's one theme or message you hope readers will take away from love awakens you.
I hope the one message I think you all will take from it is that you have the courage to say, I can do it. I can move beyond fear in whatever way that manifests for you, because there's many different ways, and that you're going to take the step to opening the doorway to love. And when that happens, you'll be surprised at all the new synchronicities that happen in your life.
Very well said, Miss Cindy. So, do you have any advice for aspiring writers out there?
I do. Just do it. It's hard work, um, but it's worth it in the end. Um, you want to be able to help people in whatever way you're guided to help people. That could be something as simple as, or it could be writing a sci-fi or a romance. Whatever you feel, and as you're guided by your higher guidance feels, can help humanity, to help us to raise our vibrations so that we can help others.
Definitely, indeed. How has the publishing process been for you?
Oh, it's been okay. I think I hired a company to help me with that process. I learned a lot through that process. The second book I will, of course, do a little differently, but I will still self-publish it. But it's hard work. You have to do all your own advertising. You write the book, you help get someone to edit it. That's very important, by the way. Everybody get someone to edit your books. And then you got to promote it and advertise it. And so it's a bit of work. But if it's something you feel guided to do, then it's well worth it.
Yes, people stop procrastinating. Go for it. Probably are the best in the making, like Miss Cindy Buckley. Are you a traditional or indie publishing?
Indie means self-published, then I'm self-published. I'm an indie author. Um, I wasn't it takes a long time if you go traditional, and you have to have a theme that the publishing companies feel that they can capitalize on, and you have to be able to write a lot of books, one right after another. And I'm more about writing the book at the time it's supposed to be written. So that's why I self-published, plus it's a lot quicker. Traditional publishing can take 2 to 3 years if you find a publisher that likes the idea. I'd love it if someone could help me with the advertising part of it. There's a lot of work involved for that, but I gain a lot of benefit from it as well.
Yes, certainly. So, Miss Cindy, if you go back and give advice to yourself when you were first starting out as a writer, what would it be?
Don't take 18 years to write the book. Although, although even years, I'm not sure I was ready or could have written it 18 years ago. Um, Only because I think my self-confidence has grown a great deal from, reading various books and writing my own book and reading it multiple times. I could actually feel the layers of fear being peeled off. So it was an interesting process for me.
How do you deal with writer's block?
Um, I get annoyed at myself. Don't do that, guys. Don't get annoyed with yourself. I did. I got annoyed with myself when I got stuck. And what I ended up having to do was to take a little meditation, believe it or not, and clear my mind and ask that I be guided by my higher guidance so that the words could flow. And sometimes it would take 2 or 3 pages before I got back into the groove of it. Um, that's how I dealt with it.
So, what is your daily writing routine like?
Oh, I don't write daily, actually. I write Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays when my husband isn't home so that I can have the house peace and quiet to myself. And I do most of my writing in our summer because I'm in the Phoenix, Arizona area, and it's very hot here in the summer, and you just don't go out much. So that's when I do most of my writing. I don't actually do it daily. I do it in the summer, and I do it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays.
Thank you, listen notes for my listeners core of 26 and belong to 10% popular show globally. Thank you so much. And of course, Feedspot for being the number two on the 100 best book podcasts on the planet and number one in the art book category, people. Thank you so much for supporting this podcast and of course of my 148 countries listening to me. So Miss Cindy Buckley, Love Awakens You. What is the best highlight?
Oh my, don't know. There's so many pearls of wisdom in the book. I guess one of my favorites is a reflection called Your Choice. It is very, it visualizes and graphically describes the difference between love and fear, and it poses questions for you to think about.
Which chapter have you enjoyed writing with?
Well, that's a good question. I guess I really enjoyed the reflections part because it gives you a different way to look at things.
If you have a chapter that you enjoyed the most, which chapter have you struggled with?
It would be the answers. That's the section on answers. There were a couple in there I had a hard time writing, probably because I have those issues that they bring up. That's where writer's block came in, and I had some difficulties writing it. Got past it, obviously, because I got it published, but
Congratulations, Miss Cindy Loves Awakens You. Is there a follow up for this book?
yes, the next book is coming out probably in about 3 months. It's going through the editing stage right now, and then it takes a while for the formatting and then getting it uploaded onto Amazon. So probably about 3 months, the next book will be out. It is a follow-on from Love Awakens You. It's titled Love Saves You, and it goes more in depth. We go a deeper layer.
Forward to it, Miss Cindy, and you are most welcome to come back and promote the follow up of this book, Loves Awakens You. So, Miss Cindy, can you please invite our listeners to support your book?
Yes, if you would like, the book is available on Amazon, Love Awakens You, and my name is spelled Cindi, Cindi, Buckley, Buckley. You could also go to my website, Cindi, Cindi, buckley.com, and there are two things there. There's a free guided meditation for you to try. It's just 5.5 minutes long, but it's very effective and very soothing. And I write a monthly blog where I take inspirational sayings from Love Awakens You and others, and I explain them out to show you how to apply them to your everyday life. I'm also available on Facebook and LinkedIn.
Yes, people, let's support Miss Cindy Buckley because if you support her, more books to come. So, Cindy, how do you handle criticism, both constructive and negative?
Um, I think the book is for everyone, but not everyone is ready for the book. Not everyone wants help. Some people want to do everything on their own. Some people aren't ready to acknowledge there's a difference between love and fear. That's okay. And some people just don't get the point of the book, and that's okay. They're just not ready yet. That's how I handle it.
How have your previous works influenced this current book?
I would say the biggest influence from the book is, of course, The Course in Miracles and the Disappearance of the Universe. Um, those helped guide me to be able to write about love versus fear.
Very well said, Miss Cindy, and thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for having me on your show. It's been a pleasure.
Morning, people. See you soon.